Welcome y'all to the inaugural Winners Culture recap episode. Here at the Winners Culture, where we discuss the journey to success, not the glory that it brings. I'm your host, it's just JJ, and to your left,
I'm just Daryl. 1 R, 1 Y, 1 L. Don't mess that up.
And to my right,
I'm just Blondie.
Okay.
And that makes sense because everybody up here is just something except Blondie. So like, welcome.
Somebody said that last week too. Last interview, they was like, "Why Blondie, not just Blondie?"
Yeah, like I want to be with the guys.
Is that what Q said?
Nah, Beats actually said that.
Oh, Beats said that?
I mean,
shout out to Beats, man.
Yeah, he played too much though.
He perceptive. And I'm excited about this one. Like the main reason why is because we really not gonna be on camera, so it's like we can really just talk, and we ain't really just talked in a minute. I think we haven't talked. So like for those of y'all who don't know, we started this about a year and a couple months ago. No, actually
March of 22.
Yeah. The first drop was in March of 22.
But we drafted in September, right?
But we drafted in September, so it's a year and a half.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of time.
Wow, look at God. Wow. Well, that leads us into this first segment of the Winners Culture recap episode. What's going on with y'all?
Life.
Can you elaborate, my good brother?
Life is going on. No, nothing negative. I don't have any complaints about life at all. Happy to have it. I just think we got a lot going on collectively as a unit, individually. We got a lot of opportunity, I think, on the table for us. So for me, I'm excited about what's to come, where we headed as a group, where the pod is going, and yeah, that's where I'm at.
Blondie.
I mean,
that's just Blondie, bro.
Just Blondie. Let me
Thank you.
Yo, it's just Blondie. I'm gonna be hyped when she change her name on the gram.
She's not doing that.
I'm gonna be hyped.
I don't know if I can.
You can't. It's a dual brand that you can't ruin.
I see what you're saying.
It's
They might look for you.
You could put it in a little.
Maybe in like the
bio.
in my bio. Yeah.
There you go.
Just Blondie. No, just Blondie. Just been being Blondie.
Yeah, new things on the horizon. You heard it here first.
Man.
No, I've been chilling. Life has been life, and though shit's ghetto. I ain't gonna lie. But
Ghetto? In what ways? Where's the trenches at for you?
the trenches is at my front door.
365.
And she mean that literally too.
At my front door. But no, we are blessed and highly favored, so things like that keep me going
Big facts.
amidst all the ghetto shit.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like life been life, and it's all. I think one thing I didn't realize is that like when I was doing different things, and I just was doing a lot in different areas, that at one point they would all come together, and I would have to do it all. Everything I signed up for, everything I said yes to, I was going to have to acknowledge that obligation.
Yeah.
And I feel like
book a flight and disappear.
Yeah, you feel me? Like a little cabin in Utah don't sound bad as long as
Utah
they don't find me. You know,
It's pretty Caucasian. I'm thinking like Savannah, Georgia.
Savannah, Georgia. No, it get caught out there too.
Oh, them sundown towns, right?
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, you know that's where the
they call Maniac a sundown town.
That's where that them rocks with the Confederate faces on it.
What?
The
Mount Rushmore?
No.
Oh, wait.
The
Confederate, the southern, like the racist version of Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
Well, Mount Rushmore is pretty racist too, but the southern version.
Yeah, the southern version, the Confederate one is down. I think it's in Georgia.
Where's Mount Rushmore?
I think
that is. I just looked.
I want to say
I
Washington.
No, it's not.
Treasure.
It's not in Washington.
Let's look it up.
It's somewhere weird.
Look what we can do now.
It's literally
not
somewhere
taping
weird.
Yeah, we can utilize the internet.
So I was just looking at this and I was like, oh, where is Mount Rushmore? Not that I want to go to see it, but
I remember it from National Treasure.
San Diego?
No. I was actually gonna keep scrolling so you ain't say that.
Oh.
But you didn't already said it. South
Why did
Dakota.
that pop up first though?
I see it.
I was trying to save my
also,
brother,
San Diego's
but he
not a
said
state.
it. That's why I was. Bro, I said, hold up, let me try to hurry up and scroll so he don't say Because I know as soon as he see SD, that man is gonna say San Diego. Nah, South Dakota.
My fault.
That's
yo.
where Dr. R
seen
used to
SB.
live.
I ain't know too much about it. You see what I'm saying? Doctor, shout out to my man,
Yeah, shout
Dr. R.
out to him.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that at some other time. But South Dakota, that's crazy. Hold on, let me look up this
I
Confederate.
wonder why South Dakota. They're super racist there.
I've never been. I don't
Our
have
old-
any interest in going.
Our old professor
Yeah, he told
used to
us.
tell us
That's what he
about
was
it
telling
all
y'all
the time. Yeah, that's where
stories?
he was from, and like he's been to both. He's
South
from one,
and
and then
North.
yeah, because military and stuff like that. But
Mm.
he said there was like one black person in the town, and I believe it was because he was stationed there.
I believe
Like
that.
you know, like it was
believe
something,
that.
some type of occurrence like that. Like he didn't grow up around many black. Like you know,
I heard that's how a lot of people are in
Yeah.
Asia. Like if you go to visit Asia as a black person,
Yeah.
then sometimes they'll want to take a picture with you.
Here
So
it
you know
go.
that's common.
even just here in America, like you go somewhere
yeah,
Central
they don't
America.
see
My fault,
black
y'all. My
people
fault,
often.
y'all.
Go ahead.
Stone Mountain. That's the Confederate Mount Rushmore. The carving completed in 1972 depicts
The
three.
70s?
Yeah, the 70s is crazy. Matter of
My
fact,
mom was born in the 70s.
right?
That's
My
crazy,
dad was
yo.
like 10 or something.
How you did?
No, she wilding, yo. No, she wilding. It's about to be Mother's Day. She wilding like that's about my father like that. shout out to Pops though.
It was the way she asked the question. Yeah, shout out to Pops.
She a old soul. What I'm about to
man.
say, shout out to him though, cause this is a recap episode. And did y'all know that after every episode, and when I say after, I mean 24 to 48 hours later, he always texts me with an in-depth recap of everything. When I say in-depth,
He got to give you the game breakdown. You got to watch the film.
He
You know,
be
he
watching
used to, he accustomed to that life.
he be like, yeah, Daryl said 87 words last time, but this time he said 834. Blondie was positioned a little bit to the left, like was something wrong with her chair? Like,
He said, I'm observant, man. He watching the game film.
no, I really appreciate you though, Dad. You was definitely the most loyal fan that I found so far.
Yeah. no,
But
my family was.
to Stone Mountain, my fault. So the Confederate Mount Rushmore, known as Stone Mountain, was completed in 1972 and depicts three Confederate leaders:
The usual suspects.
Jefferson Davis, Robert E. Lee, and
Bingo.
Stonewall Jackson.
Bingo.
The only three you learn about in history class. That's probably why they carved them. Now, why they carved it in 1972 is crazy, but it's in Stone Mountain, Georgia. So you in Savannah?
I said, how close is that to Savannah? I just want to be by the bayou.
Yeah,
be
I
down
don't
the
want to
street.
give I
Right,
don't
watch
want to
it
give
be
them
right
no
next to
more
it.
at a time. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all.
all right,
So
all right,
shout
all
out to
Honestly,
whoever
at
put
this
that
point,
labor in.
just get me out of America.
I see where you coming from now. Right, let's move on to the next segment. We going crazy
Moving
right now.
right on the log.
All
to
right.
what y'all really supposed to be here for.
So we gonna go with local wins or wins in the culture or women winning. So in this segment, we gonna talk about something that we seen recently where we felt felt like mainly black people. I'm gonna keep it at being. This is a black experience. I'm sorry to break it to you, but it just is what it is. So local black wins in the community. Do you seen any?
Shout out to Winners Culture alumni. Shout out to Nah Stocked Up. He had his annual Stocked Up event yesterday. I think he had it close. It's close to the convention center where he had it. So it was a great location. A bunch of vendors in there. Just a great way to display that we can all be in the same room as business owners, entrepreneurs. We can earn together. We can network together. We can come out together. Peaceful functions. Just the way that he's able to craft that, put that together. So shout out to him. And then y'all also was able to see a little bit of something Saturday too, right?
Yeah, Blondie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we went to Quincy Harris's live recording.
Oh, excess. Shout out to
Yeah,
Quincy.
Access. Yep. It was really sweet. It was a really great experience.
Yeah.
Too, being around like the live recording,
Mm-hmm.
the camera production,
Mhm.
everything. And the studio was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would say that Quincy show is a win in the culture because he interviewed 4 young black people, not all of them young. One of them was a little older, but you see what I'm saying. He interviewed 4 people doing their thing in the culture. The whole setup was very elaborate. That was my first time being in a live audience,
Production studio,
live
okay.
production studio, and they had the whole 9. You know, somebody at every camera,
Mm-hmm.
a live host, like. I think just seeing, especially when black people do a thing and it looks like how
A real
you feel
production.
like you feel like it should look like this is
Yeah.
a production for real. I feel like so many times we don't get to say that or don't get to see that or don't get to be around it. So most of us don't aspire to that. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't never. That was the first time I ever seen it. Maybe if I would have seen it before, I would have majored in communication or something. Shout out to Bloomsburg Communication Program.
Yeah, shout out to
MassCom. My fault.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was in Kines.
He also remembered us, Quincy Harris. He remembered both JJ and I like in the audience. So that was a big one for us. Like, for
That's what's up.
and he shouted the podcast out on when he was
During his
interviewing somebody.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think y'all said, what was it? Paris Fit.
Paris Fit Philly.
She just followed the page too. We got to connect with her.
Will do. Shout out to Paris. Her story is amazing too. That's another win in the culture. That's gonna be mine.
That's the woman. Yeah, there you go.
Women in the culture. Like her story really motivated me, and even to hear how she had a background in anthropology. She was an archaeologist.
Okay.
And she had like the Dr. Strange story. You feel what I'm saying? You know how he was a doctor,
top dog,
and he fell off the cliff and he couldn't use his hands, but he was a surgeon.
Yeah.
And she got hurt. She hurt her back.
Wow.
So she couldn't dig.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So her path to fitness was through from the injury.
Rehabbing.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was from the injury. You see what I'm saying? So
okay.
yeah, that was
okay.
Rehab.
Shout out to rehab. You definitely had a couple.
More than a couple. I was spending my life in rehab.
You definitely had a couple. I had a couple too. I had my fair share too. I ain't
Yeah, I'm
gonna
about to
lie.
say, like, comes with the life.
But yeah, you had a couple screws. I ain't really.
I still got a couple screws.
You still got a couple screws?
I still got the whole shebang.
You gotta where the screws at? Tell the people where the screws at.
All right, so I have a metal rod from my knee to my ankle, and then I have screws in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots, and it's about 2 to 3 screws per spot. So anywhere from like 20 to 30.
Do it ache when it rain?
Absolutely.
Wow, that's crazy. I heard that's what happens when you
yeah,
like
something about
replacement.
when your bones break, the air pressure affects your bones differently. That's what a teacher told me a long time ago. Like,
it's the actual scientific. I thought it was like a what you said, an apparition.
That's
nah,
not the way I was supposed to
the
use
air
that
is
word. That's a
different when
ghost.
it rains. The air is different when it rains. Like, you know how when you go
We
up
gonna
in a
work on
plane and
You 2 strikes today, bro.
I'm trying to tell you, I do got my bachelor's degree in kinesiology. Don't play with it. Where Lola Brooks at? Don't play with it.
As she was saying.
Yeah, that was it.
That's all it was.
Just the air pressure is different. So.
That's crazy.
Alright.
I can't relate to that.
Yeah, you was. Yeah,
I ain't had no breaks.
Yeah, you ain't play no contact sports, so you was.
No, I did. I just ain't had no breaks.
What you played?
You lucky.
Yeah, I ain't had no breaks.
What you played?
I used to play football.
You used to play football?
Yeah.
What you played for?
When I was younger.
Oh, you talking about legit?
Yeah, I used to play football. I stopped. High school was when I knew I was done with that. They wanted to do real rap. They said in the I never forget it. We was all out there before school even started. Before school even started, you did the summer workouts, and they was like, yeah, we're gonna go to two a days, and then some days we might do a extra lift that evening. And I'm like, nah, I want my summer. Y'all can keep that.
What you're saying.
I'm fine.
You've been an old man your whole life.
Yeah,
I want my
I'm
peace and
completely
quiet.
fine. Yeah, I'm completely fine with that. I don't aspire to be a football player. This is completely fine.
The
Breaking
dedication.
stuff as a kid is different. Like, your body is fearless when you a kid. Like,
Absolutely.
you could damn near break your neck and be healed in a week.
Yeah.
When you start getting old.
It's different.
Nah, you wasn't that old now. Let's not drag it. But
Me?
yeah, when you got
I
hurt.
was.
He was like,
I'm a grown. My body
19.
was done. I was not 19. I was 21.
he was 21 when that injury happened.
That happened my
Junior
year
year.
of college.
He was 21 your junior year. Was we 21 our junior year?
Yeah.
Yes.
We was 21 our junior year.
Let's keep it rolling.
Why do you need confirmation from him? Like, I literally just told you how old I was.
Yeah, that was.
He on his third strike.
That was our.
He on his third strike. We got San Diego. We got Apparition, and now we got.
Shout out to Just Daryl for keeping us moving, man. Let's get to reactions from the previous episode. So we're gonna start from the rip, y'all. So if y'all haven't been rocking with us from the rip,
Make sure you go watch it.
Yeah, we going
so you can have the context.
Exactly. Make sure you go watch it. We're gonna talk on some of the points that we learned from that interview, some of the things that we remember from that interview. So our first interview was Beyond Good G, the owner of Studio 524 Philly. Shout out to G. G was a Division I football player for the University of Maine.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's a multiple business owner. He owns multiple businesses.
Serial entrepreneur.
Serial entrepreneur. That's the word I was looking for. Mm-hmm. Trucking company, the studio itself.
Mm-hmm.
The car rental joint. What's the car rental joint?
He used to do Turo. I think he stopped Turo.
Real estate.
Real estate
Yeah.
too. Yeah, it's hard to keep. It's hard to remember.
It's hard to
everything.
keep up with G.
Yeah, but he be doing it all. So we're gonna talk on some of the things that we learned or some of the moments from that interview. What y'all learned? What do y'all remember from that?
I remember a lot from his interview, being that it was the first guest. Some of the major things that stuck out to me though was the first thing was G said after he had got hurt, his approach and his mental approach to him getting hurt was that he felt like maybe God was trying to slow him down and showing that it was something else that he needed to do, which for me is uncommon. I think an uncommon approach for athletes when they get hurt. Normally the first thought is like, and I'm sure he probably had this, but he said he got hurt his senior year, but he said he thought it was God trying to tell him something. But most athletes, I feel like, look at it like when you that close, rehab, get right back out there, or maybe do another year, play JUCO, whatever the case might be, and get right back to the path. Whereas he took it as, okay, what is going on? What am I supposed to be doing? And then also ain't sulk about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? When he spoke about driving Ubers and doing lifts to save his money to acquire the studio, the initial studio, I think that same next play, next man up mentality to see how that translated from sports and funneled directly into his business, into his hustle, was a remarkable piece for me that stood out. That was one of the first ones that stood out for me.
And pick up on that a little bit. Right after he was saying that, when we had asked him, I think it was Blondie who had asked him, what advice would you give, given what you've been through? He said, he would show people that there's more, like athletes, that there's more to life than whatever your sport is. And I thought that was one of the most profound things that he was saying, especially for me. It's probably hit home for me because, I was an athlete in a similar boat, play sports your whole life. So you play sports all year around your whole life. Sports teach you everything. That's all you know. And he was saying that same sentiment. So if he could go back, like he would embrace some of the other things in life,
Yeah. Yeah.
Blondie, what you remember from that time?
This is gonna sound kind of bad, but what I remember most from the interview is when we asked him how he dealt with everything, and he just said he complained.
He said, I complain.
I think that's one of the best parts, though, because then, he got to shed some light on that.
Yeah. People, condemn complaining. Like, oh, you're never supposed to complain. You're never supposed to. And granted, you're not supposed to take it overboard, but it's healthy to vent and get it out. And I especially think it's healthy for Black people to vent and get it out because we are kind of born to be strong and born with something to prove. And while a lot of us hit that mark, it's still, you gotta, complain it out sometimes and then just get right back to it.
I think that go right along with what D was saying, in a sense that, he never, the perseverance that was gained, you feel what I'm saying? Absolutely. Even through the obstacles, even through whatever. So it's like complaining definitely takes on a different air when you know that you're going to get back up and get back to it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because at this point, I'm just venting. I'm just letting go this moment because I know it's another game to play. I know I got to get up. I know I got something else to get to. Mm-hmm. So, I'm just not going to carry this with me until my next phase, my next stage.
Yeah.
You know
also, to continue that, when he spoke about emailing all of his own coaches, 1,000 coaches himself, not waiting on anybody to go get what you desire or what you aspire to do, not allowing anybody to okay it or green light it, I think is very important. And then also, on our journey, I feel like nobody's been telling us, it's okay to dream big or to think about, the podcast or our movement doing this or doing that. This have been talks that we all have had or goals that we have all set ourselves. And then even in our own individual lives, our own careers, nobody is saying okay, this is the path to get to here. Right. If you want to go to get whatever you aspire to do, you have to just go and try. It's not really anybody that's going to make passage for you or make a way for you. You got to just go ahead and get to it, put the work in, And I think him speaking on that was also like big.
That's a super heavy point too, because another winners coach alum, Bruce Matt, we went to high school together too, and I watched him do the same thing. Email 1,000 coaches.
Yeah.
Bruce was emailing coaches before he had film to send them.
Yeah.
And they was showing him love.
Yeah.
They was getting back to him just off the strength of his efforts. You know what I'm saying? Like that really goes such a long way. And I feel like, especially nowadays, a lot of the things you see, a lot of the things, or even when we was getting ready to do QDZ and we going back and looking, and he did 30 interviews in 30 days, and just the way that they go about it that you don't see. Like
the work that they put in.
You see what we
Behind
see now, or you right now you gonna see Philly Billboard, you gonna see Studio 524, you gonna see what you see.
Right.
But really the hustle that go, you see the winners culture.
Yeah.
Like
but
really,
you don't see what went into it
at all. Like and I think him saying like emailing 1,000 coaches to a regular person, that sounds crazy. And if I didn't watch people do it, if I wasn't a person that did it myself at a point, I wouldn't believe it. But I can truly say the only reason I did that, and one of the reasons why like I know I needed to have Bruce come on this joint, is because seeing somebody do it changed your perspective. Like let somebody
seeing that work.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's a cornerstone of what we do. I think the other part though is like that I took away from G interview was he said he emailed 1,000 coaches and only got one scholarship offer.
Only got one.
Like that's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like
it only takes one though.
But it only take one. Yeah. That's exactly
right.
And it's like, what if he sent 999?
Wow.
That's how I was thinking about it afterwards. Like, what if he only sent 999? You know what I mean? Like, all right, that might have not been his scholarship.
Right.
We might not be sitting here. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like thinking about that in our own lives is kind of what I took going forward. Like one of the things that I learned was like, all right, you gonna miss 1,000% of the shots you don't take. That is the truth. That is literally the truth.
That's very true.
You know what I mean? And I think we could all attest to that.
And I think like it's real easy to start to get timid, especially after like you reach out to one person, they don't get back to you, or you know what I'm saying. You try to get in a certain place, you can't get in, or whatever denial looks like for you. It's so easy to say, well, man, I'm doing too much. You know what I'm saying? Let me get back to my comfort zone. And our comfort zone is so easy to be at. I feel like we all, especially right now, like you were saying, we all at places in life right now where we got options of our comfort zone, or do we want to take a step that seems a little bit more unsure. It might take a little more hustle. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like that was definitely a good point.
Yeah. Y'all got any questions y'all wish y'all would have asked him?
A question I wish I would have asked him, I think maybe not a question, but I feel like I was trying to get at the athletic like bridge between athletics and business, and we did get to it, but I feel like he could have went a little bit more. I wanted him to go a little bit more in depth in that area
where he got his business acumen from.
Yeah, for the athletes that feel lost sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because a lot of us, once we get out of that space, most of us don't end up being a serial entrepreneur who own things that's really moving. A lot of people be in deep depression. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was in deep depression at the time. A lot of my guys is too coming out of that. So I feel like I wish I would have opened him opened into that a little bit more. But overall I thought it was good. What about you?
Like working through.
Yeah, go ahead.
So like just working through his feelings and not like the action, because that's important. Like action is one thing, but how you feel.
Right.
Is important.
Right.
Yeah.
And how it felt to be like a top dog. Like when we athletes at our whatever, we top dogs. Like everybody's like looking at us or whatever. When you come off that horse, that high horse, when you lead at school and you come back into don't nobody care what you did if you ain't in the league. Nobody, you feel what I'm saying? So it's like hard to deal with that mentally sometimes. So I wish I would have asked him how he dealt with that mentally.
Or if he prepared for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'd have been a good one. Definitely. How did you prepare for that?
Yeah. What about captivating moments? Moments that like you really remember that stood out to you?
I was
same moment.
I was going to say that's why I was laughing when you laughed, because I'm like, I knew that's what you was thinking. But outside of the ones I said, I think I'm trying to think of another one that I really took away from G's interview. Just him saying that he don't got to be the boss of everything.
Yeah, that was a big one.
And it's crazy because, I mean, if you've been watching the interviews or you watched that interview and maybe you checked his page since then, you may have got a glimpse into it. But to see like some of the things that he's spoken about to us, he's actually done now.
Right.
So speaking about him getting his first unit and knowing that he got his first truck and now he's past the point of, you know, the first unit is darn near finished. You know, he'll walk in here and he got his hands dirty from actually working in the crib, or you know what I'm saying. He didn't had to drive the truck himself to pick up a route a couple of times, but it's like to see that he has followed through with some of those things that he spoke on in the interview. I think it's just a great thing to be able to look back on in hindsight. Even in some of the businesses that he stopped, like I know he said he was stopping the Toro for a period of time because of some complications, but it's just like not having to be the boss over everything. If my partner is over here running and operating this, and it's a solid plan, I can run that play, and that'll bring me a percentage back. I think if black people in general, I don't even have to speak to our people. If people in general had that mentality and that mindset, it would be a different trajectory for just human compassion, and then also for finances. I saw Earn Your Leisure had dropped a post of like the average income per ethnicity in America. And one of my homies, somebody that I worked with before, his name is Lou. He's a videographer as well, a cinematographer. He had said if the bottom two, which was African Americans and Latinos, worked together, they would be in the top 4 of the average income. Wow. But because we don't have that mentality of like, I don't gotta be the boss. And then even Q talked about it, like always trying to one up somebody. You know what I mean? We don't gotta do that. If I can help you, add value to you, you know, you can add value to me. And by helping each other, that mentality, you see the result. I know we see it in G Life. Y'all can see it on G Net.
Right.
If you need that
physical confirmation, right?
Because I know some people need that, but
right,
you know, you can really see.
I think a moment for me, one of my, I guess wild, but especially when I looked at it back, is when he was talking about how in business you're not really going to see nothing in 2 years.
First 5 years,
yeah, 3 to 5.
Yeah.
Like, you know how many people don't make it to 3, and you know how easy it is to not make it to 3, because the grind all the way up to that point, to the point where you even see anything, period, is
you like wrapped out.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm a little
like,
fatigued.
You ready to give up? And
it's very easy to give up when you don't see any like fruits of your labor as well. Yeah. So a lot of people can't push past like no reward.
Push past to what you, and I think it'll go back to what you were saying, like we want to see a whole harvest, and we want to know it's all ours. You feel what I'm saying? And because neither one of those things really is realistic. It's not even realistic for that to happen, but that's what the world gives you, because that's all you see. That you see the spoils of somebody, whatever. But to actually get to that moment, it's a whole bunch of grind, a whole bunch of toil. Like a lot of seeds have been planted to get to that moment. So that was one of the real moments that stuck out to me, was that and also how he said it, his investment strategy of putting
how he breaks up his finances when it comes in. Yeah, I think that was important too. Like
80% back into the business.
Yeah, and
keeping around in the numbers he used.
20.
Splitting the 20, and then letting it stack up, and then using a percentage of the percentage.
Yeah, to have fun if you want to have fun.
Exactly,
yeah.
And I think that's an important insight on investment too.
Yeah,
you feel what I'm saying? But I think that's good on the recap. I think also like we said, if you haven't checked out the episode,
definitely go check it out. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon. Reels is on the Instagram page where you can follow us at The Winners Culture. We over on TikTok too, at The Winners Culture.
On everything, man.
On everything.
But before we wrap this up, we gonna see, like, y'all got any lessons for this week that y'all learned? What's a lesson that you learned this week?
I got 2. So first one I learned today, I was in church, and it was my church 90th anniversary today. And the message was, look where God brought us from. And he was speaking about how, like, in the Bible, basically, it was 12 stones that was supposed to represent 12 tribes. and they set it in a particular place to remind them of where they crossed over from slavery to freedom. And God told them that it's supposed to serve for two reasons. First, to provide a situation where the children are going to ask what these mean to you, and then also to remind you that, like, you didn't get here by yourself, because stones don't naturally sit on top of each other. So for me, it was just like a thought of, like, taking it forward, like asking myself, what are my own stones in my own life? Moments where, like, I have to remember that I was either delivered for something, I was carried through something, protected from something, like falling asleep at the wheel, doing like 60 to 80 on a highway, walking away unscathed, like remembering those moments, remembering those places to realize, like, all right, one day I can share this with another person or offspring, and then also to remind myself that I ain't get through it because of me. So that was my first one, and then my second one was like just remembering that as you plant your seeds, they only grow as you water them, and don't expect no seed to grow where you ain't planted. So if you ain't doing no work in a particular area, don't expect to see no fruit there because you didn't plant nothing there. So those is my lessons for the week.
Bondi, what about you?
I don't have any lessons for the week.
Okay, I think mine, what I'm learning this week, is that you can't stay in your comfort zone and expect to grow. And if you choose to stay in your comfort zone, then you making a choice against growth. And it's certainly reasons why people choose that, why people tend to stay where they're at. But the two don't go together. So I think in my own life, I've been faced with decisions about the type of things I'll do moving forward in the type of arenas that I'll involve myself in, and looking at them and saying that might be more work, or that might be more effort, or the pressure might be higher, or it might be more scrutiny on me if I take that road, but also knowing that all of the rewards of that road are greater, like are at the end of the road. You know what I'm saying? There's no way to skip the process.
That's a fact.
And so I think as humans and as people, like, it's easy to want to stay in your comfort zone, to want to skip the process. And certainly in my own life, sometimes I be wishing, like, you made a biblical reference, but how Jesus asked God to take the cross from me, take his cross from me.
Yeah.
Like sometimes that's what I'll be in the back of my head, or somewhere deep down, that's what I'll be wishing, like, man, if I don't got to do this, do I got to do this?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I'm like, everything is on the other side of this. So it's like, we might as well just get to it. I think I'm at a point in life where I'm really deep in, we might as well just get to it. And I know that's going to be my answer. Yeah. But still, you got to complain sometimes, like G said. So you got to complain sometimes, bro. Right. All right. So the last thing, right, on a lighter note, what are y'all watching? What are y'all reading? What are you currently doing creatively?
Did y'all watch Beef on Netflix?
Oh my gosh, yes.
She came alive.
Yes.
What you think? Tell me some of your thoughts.
That's my kind of show.
For real?
I like an on-site type of beef. But I will say, one thing that the show highlighted, which I think was the point of the show, is when you don't let things go, there is a potential to lose everything. Like, that lady lost her husband, her kid, the only family she pretty much had, like. And then when you, like, the more they got into the episodes, she was running her whole life anyway, and it finally caught up with her. So that was one of my main takeaways. Although I do understand, the guy was wrong from the beginning. He definitely started everything like he was wrong. I understand.
You think he started everything?
For sure. He backed out without looking in his rearview mirror. That's your fault.
This is why I wanted to ask, because I was like, all right, everybody gonna have a different perspective.
He backed out. Granted, she did draw.
Okay.
She was mad though, so was he. But he was upset from that shit that just happened in the store in life, period. And he backed out without paying attention.
Interesting.
Again, you can't let sadness allow you to be careless. And then he got mad because he was salty, because it's like, she did draw beeping that horn, but I would beep a horn like that.
JJ, I'm assuming you ain't see it yet.
I haven't seen it.
Right,
You
so
know,
that's your homework by the next recap episode.
I've heard about it a lot though. A lot of people keep talking to me about it, asking me if I've seen it. So I definitely
you gotta tap into it. For me, I think it was interesting to see how Road Rage was able to portray how one person ultimately was just looking for unconditional love, and one person was just looking to not be by themselves, and that the rage that came from that one encounter, they ended up finding each other.
Yeah, they were kind of like perfect
for each other.
Which also they were the same person. More importantly, I won't say they were perfect for each other because that's like a fairy tale statement. But they were the same person, whether they realized it or not, or wanted to accept it or not. And that's why they kept going at each other like that.
Yeah,
because it's hard when you're faced with yourself.
Yeah, I think it also proves like to communicate. Like, but realistically, I think it was just...
He did her right. He chased her down for blocks and blocks. Listen, I would have got out my car and shot at him.
See, that is not what I think the show is supposed to encourage.
It's not. And they lived in, like, Beverly Hills somewhere, California, somewhere rich. But I would have personally opened my driver door at the stop sign and pulled out my gun and started shooting at him. And I would...
So you would have been in the same predicament, lost everything for this
one moment.
Perhaps.
Wow.
But
so the show's for people like you.
Listen, maybe that's why I love this so much. Listen, I am evolving, not evolved. So don't try me.
That show had proved to me, like, I mean, on a surface level, the beef for the road rage, just let it go. But I liked how the show was able to take a surface level incident and go so in depth and in detail as to like what people are actually going through. But for me, you hit the horn at me. I'm only holding on the horn if you about to hit the car. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, have a good day. It's not worth my life at all. I got stuff to live for, stuff to do.
Yeah, I'll be pretty.
I'm not even worried about it no more. I didn't have too many occurrences with that.
Yeah, but it's the man that didn't let it go.
Yeah, but when you think about it, he was about to kill himself, and that's why he was pissed. He was pissed because the store wouldn't let him return the stuff. So I'm not saying that he was
but
right.
You can't let sadness lead you to carelessness. He
That's
chased
true.
her down for blocks and vandalized property, almost caused multiple accidents, ran red lights, had the same heaters he was trying to return flying out his fucking truck. You should have let that lady go. And he was wrong. You was about to back out. She was already coming. You almost hit her car.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm simply saying that his actions didn't warrant that response, which is, I think, a message of the show.
Bonnie,
to evaluate that.
My fault. What you watching?
Beef, apparently.
Y'all watching Beef. So let me tell y'all what I'm watching, right?
Were you done hearing us talkers?
No, we talked about Beef for a while. I ain't gonna lie.
He can't
contribute. So
he gotta do his homework.
Yeah, but we also gotta we've been on here for a while. We don't want to give them super.
Go ahead. What you watching? Go ahead. What you watching?
It's anime.
Definitely anime. I'm heavy into anime. Different types, different kinds. Like the one.
Because we just sitting here like.
No, don't do that. I watch anime too.
I didn't even know that. That's cool.
I'm sitting here like.
Because he just had to tell us. You should have just started.
No, I shouldn't.
Next time start so we could hear all about your anime.
I really want to.
No,
I felt like on the beef topic, y'all was. But anyway, this is what I was saying. I'm watching 4 right now. Because they come out on a weekly basis.
That's an anime.
Yeah. No. 4 is not the name. I'm watching 4 different ones.
Oh.
One is Vinland Saga. One is Hell's Paradise.
Okay.
One is Demon Slayer. And
I heard about that.
I think that's the only 3. It might be those 3. And out of those 3, Hell's Paradise is my favorite right now. One, because the opening, the intro, if you never watch anime, is like a theme song. You know how America don't have theme songs like that. And I really like Hell Paradise theme song. And then also the concept of the show is a killer who in his heart he believes that he's a killer, that he doesn't have nothing to live for, and then it's this other samurai woman, and she comes along, and she's intent on proving to him that he's human still, that he still has a little bit of humanity left in him.
Soul.
Yeah, and she gets him to acknowledge that he loves his wife because he's married, but the marriage was arranged, and he's just a killer at the end of the day. But he does actually grow a fondness for his wife. And so this other samurai gets him to admit that, but in order to get back to his wife, he got to go through hell, basically.
Oh, okay. So the samurai is an evangelist.
Shout out to that samurai. I might have to tap in now. All right,
something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a good joint, and in return to her, like he gives her confidence because in Japanese culture, women aren't supposed to be the leaders of their clan. They're not supposed to be steppers for real. But she's tough, but it's hard for her to get over the fact that she's a woman in so many different ways. And he like F that. Like if you can kill, then kill. Like
all right. Where can I watch this at? I got to download something special to watch this.
No, you can watch it for free. I like at this point I support Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll don't sponsor us, so I shouldn't say it. It is what it is. I support Crunchyroll because I watch so much anime that I feel like I should pay for it. But you can definitely just Google it and it will appear. It's a good joint though.
All right. Well, I'm gonna check it out.
Did y'all watch the new Bridgerton show? The one about the queen?
I haven't. No. I've seen it though.
My cousin has me watching it. So I got that and Beef.
What's the name of it?
I think is it not called Bridgerton?
I don't know.
I don't know if the new spinoff. It's
know
how
it's
there's
spinoff of the
Bridgerton.
Queen?
Yeah, and then there's the Queen Charlotte.
Oh, I didn't watch.
I think it's called Queen Charlotte.
One.
I honestly think it's called Queen Charlotte.
All right, we'll check it out. So I'll check. I got two to look into. So I'll look into those two.
Yeah, it's pretty nice watching a black woman rule.
I'm gonna definitely tune into Beef. What about reading? What y'all reading?
Outside of the normal books, I don't really like to read a lot of different things at one time. So I got a few different books, but I haven't cracked a few of them yet. One that I'm trying to actually sit down and read completely, one of my homies got me for my birthday a year ago that I never read completely, Souls of Black Folk.
By W.B. Du Bois?
Yeah, I just never read it completely.
Okay.
So I think if I did, I was a child.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to.
That's good. I feel like books like that is real good to understand where I think black people, just like all people, have like different sects, like different like categories, different arrangements where a specific thought process is prevalent. And reading Du Bois definitely gives you an insight on how some black people think. What I'm reading right now. I'm still reading this book called The Artist's Way, A Pathway to Creativity. And the point of the book is to expand your creativity and just really show you that all creativity, like creative energy is God energy. God has the power to create and it flows through you. And that's where your creativity comes from. So it helps get you in touch with your spiritual nature, so you can be at your most creative self. And it's real interesting. I've really enjoyed it. Blondie.
So I have a few on my little rotation. One is called The Mastery of Love. I think it's by Dominic Ruiz. And then The Alchemist, but that's a super long book. So can I be honest? Like, it takes me a really long. I read it once when I was a kid, or like high schoolish, and it takes me a long time to read it. So I just take my time with it. And then I have Sacred Woman by Queen Afu.
I think he was talking about that on the episode before with
I'm a woman. So.
With Imani, right?
Oh yeah. Yep. Queen Afu, and then a book that I hope to get to too. Is All About Love by Bell Hooks.
Yeah.
And then there is a book about great-grandparents that is by a black woman. I can't remember her name at the moment, but my great-grandmother was featured in it before she passed away.
That's
deep.
Yeah. And I remember the backstory to it is I was away at school, and all of the cousins were away at college, but I was able to come home, and my younger cousin, Justin, and the author interviewed my great-grandmother, me, Justin, what it was like being able to have a great-grandmother as a black child, like, because that's not a thing. They're like pillars of the family. And she was still up and kicking, like pretty much until her very last days. She was like, she lived alone. She drove, like she was still, she was that lady that had her family's church seat. Yeah. From the day she was born until the day she died. Like, it just was like that. So she was featured in that book. And about last year, I went on the hunt for it because I couldn't really remember the name of it, just bits and pieces. And I ended up coming across it on Amazon.
Okay.
So I bought the new book used, and I was able to, get that picture back of us because I used to have it in my phone, and like it just kind of got lost in the sauce somewhere because it was just a picture from the book that was at her house. And like, you know, just so anyway, that's on my list to get to
read it. But you got it in your collection.
Yeah, I have it. Now,
that's what's up. That's what's up. Shout out to great grandmoms.
Yeah, that's a story right there. I love root stories that get you closer to like where you came from and stuff like that.
Yeah. It was sweet.
So our last question before we get out here: are y'all doing anything creatively right now?
Yeah. Editing this podcast, this content. But no, outside of that, I've been racking my brain on ways to just kind of do some content for myself. Mm-hmm. I feel like I don't share a lot on social media. I feel like I have it, but I'm not really.
Yeah.
So, just trying to craft my content in a way where it represents more of who I am. Mm-hmm. So I'm working on some stuff with that, but that's about it.
That's tough. I think for myself, I think the artist way the book I was talking about basically creativity is in everything. You know what I'm saying? So I could definitely see my creativity in all the different things I do. I think one of the things that's really pulling on it the most right now is definitely the content for the podcast, because you know, I never was doing stuff like this before. I never was, you know, creating on a video level or graphic design level. So it's really cool to see the different things I could tap into or like pushing myself to learn, because as many skills as it might seem like I have or things that I do, I really like, this is going to sound weird, like, because I like it at the end, but I don't like the process of learning for real. I'm keep it being like, I don't like.
I know.
We know.
Yeah, like I don't. It'd be a slow grind for me. You feel what I'm saying? But like the only thing that get me over that hump is discipline. Like the fact that like I know if I keep doing, if I keep at it, chip at it, eventually it's gonna sink in. And so that's what this content been like for me. And on a more fun end, I feel like lately I've been getting more into my fashion bag. Just on, I've been getting more into my fashion bag, and that's something I always had it in the back pocket, but I don't really.
Lying.
You feel what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell y'all. Anytime I wanted this step, I could, but it's not likely that I would. And I feel like now, because we doing the content and about branding and all that, I'm like, you know, I'm
talk your talk,
put a couple fits together and you know, play with colors, and it feel real creative. It feel like it feel fun, like it feel a little
expressive,
a fun thing to do.
I feel expressive.
Yeah, definitely more expressive than I normally am. You know, I'm a heavy Adidas pants type guy, track pants.
You coming out of that athlete mentality?
No, I ain't coming out of it. No, don't get it twisted. I'm saying once a week, maybe I might throw something on. Oh, let's not push it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get 12 picks in 12 months. That's my goal.
I feel that.
One pick a month.
One pick a month.
I understand that. I too am on a similar journey for the pictures.
What about you creatively? Where you at with it? Blondie, just Blondie. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's an adjustment for all of us. I'm currently trying to get the drafts out of my head and into real life. I got a lot of tabs open, which brings me back to one of our previous questions. I just couldn't think of anything fast enough at the time because I was trying to process it all. But one step at a time would be my advice for the past weeks, like just with things. Because y'all know personally what was going on with me, and just even getting out of that, because that's like a super recent thing. It's like a one step at a time. Yeah. You know, not too much to where I get burnt out, but not too little to where it's like I'm sulking. That's what you said earlier, you know? So yeah, I'm trying to get my drafts out of my head into real life, just like different projects to create. I've started writing again. I'll be in the studio a little bit, like
shit.
No, for real, no. Y'all, but y'all know how I be when I be in here just chilling. I'll end up in the studio, which is something I never thought I would do, even just playing around in a million years. And like,
if you is a nigga that crossed Blondie in the last, however old Blondie is, I feel bad because she been hitting the booth, y'all.
Okay, diss track is coming out. The diss track is coming out. Yeah. Nobody's safe. Not granddaddies, daddies, exes.
She right in her bed.
Listen, me and my hoes is getting on this diss track. Okay? It's going to be ready. Hopefully for the summer, we're going to be out there thugging with our rounds.
I'm pointing at the camera.
I am.
With the gun finger. Woo, well, there you have it. The inaugural episode of
the recap.
The Winners Culture recap. Shout out to G for coming through, man. We learned so much. It was a great moment. A great moment for us to learn from and to continue to grow from. So if you're looking for us at the Winners Culture on everything. Also, we on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts,
Amazon. Wherever you get your podcast from,
wherever
it is there.
It's there.
If you cannot find it somewhere, DM us.
DM us.
We make sure you
what
get
I'm
it.
saying?
It's on YouTube as well. We make sure you get the podcast. But also, we gotta tell them if y'all got any questions. You know what I'm saying? Any questions that y'all want to send as y'all peruse through the episodes. Make sure y'all send them to the email, thewinnersculture@gmail.com. And you never know, it might be featured.
Yeah. Interact with us.
Yeah.
For sure. Send some questions. We might even post some questions and if y'all answer if y'all answer the question, we'll answer your question at the end of the pod. Shout out to everybody rocking with us.
Yeah.
It's definitely been a lot of love and support so far and we definitely grateful because it's definitely not easy.
Absolutely.
What I'm saying.
Not. Absolutely
not easy at all. But it's just JJ. It's just _JJ on Instagram.
I'm just Daryl. Again, 1 R, 1 Y, 1 L. Don't mess that up.
And I am officially known as Just Blondie.
But
also follow the Blonde Room.
Until next time, we want to let you.